around for so long. Yeah, it was made right here in actually Friday Harbor, and this Scott Fitzgerald, really talented guy. I love his stuff, but fun music, really fun music. So we found this key in the parking lot. I know that it does go to a Husky toolbox of some sort, so apparently nobody in here. So somebody dropped it, don't know. Who knows? More t-shirts, sweatshirts, although these ones are for little children, little kids, okay? I mean like infants type thing. So little kid in a playpen says, "My first man cave." My dad knows a lot, but my grandpa knows everything. Yeah. I'm not crying, I'm ordering dinner. I believe you were expecting me. Cute stuff. All right. We do have a couple patron saints, George Carlin and John Lennon. So, and at least George, he knew that we were here. He actually talked to us for a while on stage, so it was kind of cool. Because Dottie had been writing letters to him and telling him about us, and he was our patron saint. Of course, he was not real impressed, but actually he was trying to, what is wrong with these people? So, perfect. And John said, though, when we say war is over if you want it, we mean that if everyone demanded peace, instead of another TV set, we'd have peace. So, but there you go. And George, bowling is not a sport because you have to rent the shoes. All right. Go George. All right. So. Those who bring sunshine to the lives of others cannot keep it from themselves. I completely believe that. No man is an island, entire of himself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. But a man's reach should exceed his grasp. So. Yeah, and most of you know that everybody's volunteers in the church. I have my insurance business, and I do. This is open. The reason I'm saying this is because this is open enrollment for healthcare. So if you know anybody that needs something, send them to our office, or Medicare, obviously. So open enrollment for Medicare. Through December 7th. Medicare is through December 7th, and the healthcare is open enrollment until the 15th of December. So, but don't wait till the last minute. If the entire population of China were to walk past you in single file, you would not live long enough to see the end of the line. Wow. And it's a whole lot bigger than when this book was made. So, well, it's just like, ask me about Shenzhen, China, if you want to know. The history of this town is fascinating. It'd be about 29 years ago now. It was literally a little fishing village. There was nothing there. Now it has almost 30 million people. Wow. Unbelievable. The story is amazing. So if you want to know about it, you can ask me afterwards. But serious things cannot be understood without laughable things, nor opposites at all without opposites. Plato, 428 BC. Men who borrow their opinion can never repay their debts. It is a profitable thing, if one is wise, to seem foolish. I did these ones, did I not? What was hard to endure is sweet to recall. So, unless you want me to go on for this week, I'll do it next week. Come back next week. Speaking of next week, we have Thanksgiving this week. Do you want to talk about that?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Now we're on. Thanksgiving. It's everybody's welcome. Everybody, anybody would like to come join us. We have a lot of fun. We do turkey. Joe and I are going to do turkey, possibly ham, depending on how many people sign up. Bring all the fixings to go with it. Come and bring your happy smiles and just enjoy the day. And there's a lot of people who come to ours and then go to families.
I was just going to say that same thing. Yeah.
I stole your thought. Or both. Well, that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Come to
yeah.
ours and then go to family, or go to family and then come to ours.
To recover.
We usually. What do we usually eat around 2-ish? Yeah. So come and we set up, and we're usually here by noon. What? 1 o'clock?
It says 1 o'clock. Does
1
that-
o'clock. So we'll be here. Joe and I will be here. We'll start setting up around noon. If anybody would like to join us and help set up, and yeah, come and enjoy the day.
So we're going to eat at 1.
Eat at 1.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be here early, setting up and everything, and then we'll eat at 1. So.
Well,
where
yeah,
it's always
yeah,
is.
ish, yeah, yeah.
If you come in at 2, there's still going to be food. Okay. So, what was the other thing? Oh, the raffles that we're going to be doing. Boy, do we have a lot of stuff coming in. Thank you guys so much. This is going to be so cool. We're not going to have just 1 or 2 baskets. We're going to have a lot of baskets. So,
Cool.
we're going to start selling raffle tickets starting next weekend. And we'll sell them, each Sunday before Christmas. So the Sunday before Christmas, we'll poll. Don't worry if you're not present. We'll make sure your phone numbers are on the tickets so we can give you a call. You will need to have to come here to the church to pick up your item because we're not going to do any delivering. But yeah, so we're going to start selling tickets, and you'll be able to either buy for one particular basket. We're going to have envelopes, or for the pot. So whichever basket you get, that kind of thing. So. And then, Janice, were you going to talk about this again, or do you want me to? Please do. Okay. So we have that wonderful, beautiful quilt that Chris Powell made for us, again, for our expo. This is going to be a raffle item. We are going to make up special raffle tickets. They're going to come in packets. So once we get those, if you're interested in taking a packet or 2 of those raffle tickets and selling them to family, to your office if you're allowed to whomever, we're going to start offering those to you as soon as we get those made up. I turned it so you could see the backside of it, because the backside is just as beautiful as the front side. I mean, look at how intricate that is. So yeah, we'll announce that when the time comes. Anything else I'm missing?
Probably.
Yes.
I always forget everything.
Mary Lou made up this jalapeno, cranberry,
Raspberry.
cream cheese, yummy-ish thing that's in the back. And there's some gluten-free pretzels as well. Please feel free to try it. It's really good. And there's a copy of the recipe back there too if you'd like it. All right, good? Everybody good?
And for anybody that likes really hot things, it's not hot at all. You barely can feel it. But for people that don't like hot stuff, apparently they feel it. So I don't know what to say about that.
I couldn't feel it, and I know it's hot.
Very good. It's very, very good. Oh, what's the deal with the bread back there on the counter? There's some, huh? Is that what it is?
Yeah, came from Carrie's celebration online.
Okay, thank you. Okay. The Zen of sarcasm. Do not walk behind me, for I may not lead. Do not walk ahead of me, for I may not follow. Do not walk beside me either. Just pretty much leave me alone. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a broken fan belt and a leaky tire. It's always darkest before the dawn. So if you're going to steal your neighbor's newspaper, that's the time to do it. Don't be irreplaceable. If you can't be replaced, you can't be promoted. I always believed that. I really, really did. When I was in corporate America, that was my philosophy, and it worked for me. So, always remember that you're unique, just like everybody else. Never test the depth of the water with both feet. And if you think nobody cares if you're alive, try missing a couple of car payments. Yep, you find out. All right. Anything else that I'm missing or should be aware of, or parties I should know about? So, all right. 2, Minnesota, and I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you in advance, these are a couple of groaners. Just telling you right now. And I'll try to do this correct. 2 Minnesotans, Sven and Oli, walk into a pet shop near Brainerd. They head to the bird section, and Sven says to Oli, "That's dem." The owner comes over and says if he can be helped. "Yeah, sure. We'll take 4 of dem there little budgies in that cage up there," says Sven. The owner puts the budgies in a paper bag. Ole and Sven pay for the birds, leave the shop, get into Sven's pickup, and drive to the top of some big cliffs near Brainerd Lake. At the cliff, Sven looks down at the 1,000-foot drop and says, "Das looks like a grand place." He takes 2 birds out of the bag, puts them on his shoulders, and jumps off the cliff. Ole watches as Sven falls all the way to the bottom, kills himself. Looking down at the remain of his best pal, Ole shakes his head and says, "By yumpin' Jiminy, this budgie jumping is too dangerous for me." But wait, there's more. Moments later, Canute arrives up at the cliffs. He's been at the same pet shop. Walks up to the edge of the cliff carrying another paper bag in one hand and a shotgun in the other. "Hey, Ole, what's this?" Canute says. "I'm going to get in trouble for these both. I know I am." He takes a parrot from the bag, throws himself over the edge of the cliff. Ole watches as halfway down, Canute takes the gun out and shoots the parrot. Canute continues to plummet down and down until he hits the bottom and breaks every bone in his body. Ole shakes his head and says, "And I'm never trying that parrot shooting either." I know. I told you. I had to do it. I'm sorry. That's okay. I had another one that I didn't do, and you should really be happy I didn't do it. I had to try 4 different people to find out that I was not going to do that one. Because a couple of them said I should do it. Well, I couldn't decide either, so I kept trying. So. All right.
I think that requires attitude. I think there's attitude. Just that.
Just a little bit of sass.
A little bit of sass. We need a little bit of sass. Who would like to read our prayer for opening? That one right there. And we might want to, as we're doing the prayer, we might want to close in for the prayer, and then when she does the gratitude, open up, just to see how that feels for you.
Prayer for deliverance. Loving Spirit of light, save me. Save me from my mental musings. Save me from judging myself and my past. Save me from judging others as well. Save me. Deliver me. Lift me above the anguish I impose upon myself through old thought patterns. Life teaches me I'm not good enough. I'm undeserving of good things. I'm not valued. I can and will fail. Reveal to me my successes and strengths, for my past blinds my awareness. Open my heart and teach me the truth. Save me. Amen. Gratitude. I am grateful for divine deliverance into the truth of who I really am. Amen.
Thank you. Lynn, would you read that excerpt from the Ancient Ones for us, please?
I would be delighted. This is from the Ancient Ones writings and readings that Janice had received. If nobody has one of these books with these, Beth put it together. It's awesome. I highly recommend it. As you move into a new level of awareness, you expand that awareness and you set a new vibration into motion in the physical plane and in the ethereal realms. When you bring your sacred awareness into the process, everything shifts into a sacred energy. There are many things in your awareness right now that are not sacred. Bring a new sacred awareness into and onto that experience, and things shift toward the greater good.
This frees you to be more authentic and more at ease in your own world. Welcome this new world and move freely into this new level of flow. Life uplifts you more and you awaken more deeply into the truth of who you really are. We uplift you as you find footing in this new level of awareness. Greater power awaits you.
Funny how those two things just kind of work together, huh? I've had that earmarked for like 3 weeks. Finally get to use it. I want Phil to come back up again. He has more of his story to share. He has another update, manifesting update alert. Hi, Toby Cat. Yeah, I'll just meander across while he's walking on up here.
Janice made me do it.
Yeah.
I have to say one thing too. In my office, on a podium, I have a plaque, and it's amazing the number of people that come in the office and comment on it because it just says, "Expect nothing, appreciate everything." So I firmly believe that. But what Jan was talking about is I do have kind of an interesting manifesting ability, if you will. Things
King
just
of manifest.
things do just happen. It's kind of odd, but and I guess it's because I do listen a little bit, but I don't get the impulse like, oh gee, Phil, you ought to just leave everything and go back and live in Minnesota or something, just because I'm supposed to be doing that. No, I don't hear those types of things, and I wouldn't act on them anyway. But this was just a simple little thing. One evening this last week, I says, I'm gonna go down to Lowe's. I've got this new shed that has a really atrocious odor, and we can't figure out what it really is. I suspect it's something from a wood stove that used to be in there. It's not smoke, it's just it's just not a good odor. So I was gonna see about priming the wood or sealing it or doing something. So I went down to Lowe's.
Now, let me fill in the story here for you.
Okay.
Because this was a weird time of day. Phil doesn't go to the store this time of day, never has up to this point.
It was in the evening.
It was in the evening. He never does that. Just never does that. So he just had a feeling that this is the next step and now would be a really good time to do it. So then he just acted on that
And I'm walking by the paint department. Here's an old friend in the paint department. And I said, Steve, how you doing? And look, it's Old Home Week, and he works there. And so I just mentioned to him about this odor and everything, and he says, well, you need to, get this sealer. And it's like, okay. He says, though, he used to own a restoration company. And he said, we use these big ozonator machines in rooms to get rid of smoke odors and all kinds of other things. That should work out for you too. I mean, I've just got it at the house. I can bring it by when you're at home. And it's like,
just happened to.
Where are you going to rent a commercial ozonator machine? They're not available. So so it's in the shed right now, and so
It's doing its work.
It's doing its work. So.
So that's one of the tools that Phil uses for manifesting, is that he'll get an insight and he acts on it. Half the time we get these really cool insights and, oh yeah, well, I'll do that later. No, act on it. Him acting on it exactly when he did was the perfect timing for him to line up with this person that just happened to be working evenings. And he had never seen him there the entire time he's been in and out of Lowe's. Good grief, he goes there sometimes several times a day. So anyway, manifesting. More things I want to share with you. Let me do this first. So you've been sending, people have been filling these little things out for me. I love this. I've been getting some great insights for things that I would like to do. It's what I like about the Divine Fellowship, what I'd like to learn and explore, and other insights. So if you have not filled that out, would you please do that for me? So grab one, pass them around. When the contribution basket comes around, if you just throw them in there, then Nancy makes sure I get them at the end of the day. Because I'm really looking at those. I've got a spreadsheet of all your answers that I keep sending to the board. So I'm keeping the board informed of your comments, and so we're gonna do some really cool, neat stuff in the new year. Fun. That's that. Checking off my checkbox list. Well, you know, there's so much I want to talk to you about today. In kind of this is the last Sunday in November. Can you believe it? Last Sunday in November. Sheesh. Right? Next, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, when the church was in downtown Kennewick, for some reason I was outside in the front. We had this little storefront, and we had a little kitty cat named Merlin. I think I was out looking for Merlin. I don't know what I was doing out front. It wasn't normal for me. Usually Sunday mornings I was help setting up and getting ready, and for some reason I was out front, and this little old guy, walking with his cane, came up to me and he says, "Here, this is for you." And he hands me this piece of paper. And I look at it. It says, "A love letter to humankind from every woman and every man." And as I looked at that, and I just read the first line of it, we are in love with humankind, in love with all of us. And I looked up to thank him and ask him what it was all about. He was gone. Now, either he had a miraculous healing and walked really fast to get out of there, or he was not physically present, or when I looked at the paper, there was a time shift, and I looked at the paper a lot longer than I thought I had. Either way, weird stuff, right? And so there's it's page after page of this typewritten stuff about a message to us as it seemed channeled. Let me just say that. I'm going to read just the last couple of lines here. Many will see divine guidance as presently unimaginable wonders unfold. Many will see those views as being merely different without judging, then differences to celebrate, then becoming one. But all of us will experience unending, marvelous advances beyond these which can already be foreseen. Learning through direct thought placement and monitoring, instant communication free from space or time constraints, arresting the aging process, and all swords into plowshares. We are in love with humankind, in love with all of us. We. So this is pretty profound. So if you want a copy of that, let me know. I'll see if I can't scan that, put it on the website.
Where was this at? Sorry.
This is downtown Kennewick. When we had our first building, well, the first place we met at was Choices and Changes in their conference room, and then we got a little storefront building, and we were there for, what, a year and a half?
About 5-6 years.
Really?
Hey, you were in the time shift.
Oh, God, is it that long? Okay.
Larry did the build out.
Oh, that's right, yeah, oh, whatever. I just show up, I don't know. Didn't this talk about not being connected to time and space? I think that's true. So anyway, that was just a really bizarre situation. So things have been really weird and bizarre with the Divine Fellowship since the beginning. And probably will continue to be bizarre and weird, and we love it, don't we? Don't we just love that? So over the years, Phil and I have shared with you some spiritual tools. I'm going to just mention them briefly. This was something I typed up on our 15th anniversary, which was a few years ago. A spiritual tool, many spiritual tools here. First one is service. Doing for others because you are love and light. That's a tool, that's a spiritual tool. Focused intent, setting the heart's intent as focus for every action. Gratitude, feeling an overwhelming sense of being blessed in every current experience. Joy, finding an inner experience of lighthearted fun in every experience. The next right step, putting a foot out and just see where it lands. Did you like that one? Faith, we don't care what you believe, we care that you believe. Spiritual readings, the good book, read with the eyes of light, or current writings to uplift and feed the soul. Prayer, talking with God, higher power source, whatever, like you couldn't wait to share what was on your heart. You know, there's a Bible passage that says, "Speak, Lord, thy servant heareth." I think oftentimes when we're talking to God, it's like, "Listen, God, I'm speaking up here and I'm telling you how it is." We might want to look at that. Wonderment, opening conscious thought to open curiosity. Hope, remembering that good happens even in dark times. Allow, giving up resistance that doesn't work anyway. Release, setting oneself free from toxic thoughts, emotions, people, organizations, and activities. Premeditated happies, making and taking time for fun. Have you done a premeditated happy this week? Oh, you're here. That's a premeditated happy. Acceptance, being okay with oneself and others along with current situations. Unrelenting purpose, finding something greater than oneself that carries us through difficulties, can be found in answering the statement, "There's got to be a better way." If you have something in your world and you go, "There's got to be a better way," there's your destiny. You came to change that. Sorry, not sorry. Vision, seeing beyond the physical realm and believing it to be true. Listening, open one's spiritual ears to hear guidance. And with that, sometimes spiritual guidance comes in symbolic form. Symbolism is the language of spirit. So sometimes it's easier to receive a dream or some sort of a symbolic situation, like a bird flying past, and you go, "Oh, well, what was that?" And you look up that particular bird, and it just happens to be the energy you're requiring that day. So paying attention and knowing that everything that's happening may have symbolic information for you. Inspiration, the moment guidance comes. That's inspiration. Laughter, finding the funny. Friendships, each one walks their own path. We just don't have to do it alone. You got your path. I'm not here to walk your path. I'm not here to tell you how to walk your path. I'm here to walk my path and, oh, hey, hi, how you doing on your path? I think that's great. Love, what it's really all about, also known as compassion. The deep feeling of acceptance, appreciation, and concern for oneself and others. Forgiveness, I have more to say on forgiveness upcoming. The act of moving beyond emotional pain and attachments to that pain. Healing, the physical release of pain and suffering. Enthusiasm, heartfelt excitement for one's path. Surrender, the opposite of giving up. The willing relaxation into spirit, knowing that we are supported fully. That's surrender. Grace, unmerited favor. Knowing that we receive loving gifts from spirit without the necessity of deserving them or earning them. That's grace. Respect, we honor our planet and all living things. Appreciation, acknowledgement of spirit or others for the blessings they offer us. Passion, the spark of divine light that within that fulfills us and allows us to shine. And willingness, the ability to move out of resistance through surrender into joyful expression of the love that we are. I think that still works for us today, doesn't it? So what I wanted to talk to you today about is a common complaint that I hear. And I've been praying about it. So, you know, I do the tools. I'm doing tools here. And as I was praying about it, I had an insight. Oh, cool. So I thought, well, this is really cool. So I texted her, oh, I'm going to show you this insight on Sunday. So my granddaughter comes over, and so I was sharing her that, and she just didn't get it. I was like, Grandma, that doesn't make any sense to me. So I thought, well, there's got to be something else then, because there's got to be something else. Maybe there's a different way. Boom, had a new vision. so the amplified version is coming through today. So what I want us to talk about is how our brains get chattery. Anybody here have chattery brain? Anybody here would like to stop the chattery brain? Okay, so you can't. The chattery brain is just a part of your brain. It's a level of your mind, but there are other levels of your mind that if you put your focus on can assist you, okay? So that chattery brain, and sometimes the chattery brain tells us the truth. Oh, you failed at that. You didn't do that very good. You did a terrible job of that. You let that person down, and that was just not right. Okay, all those things may be true. Are they helpful? No. They don't uplift me. They don't encourage me. They don't inspire me to do better. They just make me feel bad. And sometimes the chattery stuff is just dumb. Maybe I'm the only one that has a dumb chatter brain. But my chatter brain go, oh, I like crystals. I like sparkly crystals. Sparkly crystals are my favorite. Phil likes other kinds of rocks. He likes the really rocks. I like sparkly rocks. Sparkly rocks are really, really pretty. My favorite sparkly rock is this really pretty one, and it has sparkles all over and all these little shut up. Wouldn't you like to just tell us? And will it shut up? No. Just keep. Okay. Well, I have a technique today that will assist you, help you to move beyond that level of mind, to move into a different level of mind, because you can't shut it up. It's not going to shut up. You know, a lot of times we use tools, not necessarily these tools, but we use other tools to try to shut it up. We watch television, we eat too much, we drink too much, we stay really, really busy, or we sleep. You know, I mean, there's all things we do to try to escape that mental chatter. Well, there's a better way. I have a better way to share with you today. But I want you to look at your mental chatter. We're going to start by looking at that. It's not going to go away. It's part of what your brain is meant to do. Your brain is meant to alert you to possible errors, to possible discomfort, to possible problems. And so, you know, if I had a friend that betrayed me, oh, now I got to think about that. I got to remember that, because if I can remember that and keep that constant in my mind, then I won't be betrayed again, because I'll be aware of that. I'll be conscious of that, right? No, because the next person comes along and they abandon me because they get a new job and they leave. Well, I wasn't prepared for that. Oh, now I gotta think about this one, and I gotta think about that too, and because somebody might, you know, I can't invest too much in my friends, but I love people. I want to invest in people. Our brains are just working their hardest to keep us safe and to keep us small. And how does that work in your life? It doesn't. It doesn't work in my life either. So to just acknowledge that it's there is really important. And the first thing we can do to assist ourselves is notice that there's different parts of your brain, okay? And there's a part of your brain where all this chatter happens. Can you, in your imagination, create a big, huge warehouse or a big, huge gymnasium? And all of these patterns of thought, there's my friend thing. Okay, friend thing, you're going to go in there. In this big, huge room. It can run around all at once. Oh, health issues. I got health issues. Well, better. I have to worry about that. I have to be concerned about that. Let's throw that in there. There's this. So now I've got two of these mind things running around. Can you do that? Can you put your mind stuff in another room? Okay, that's helpful to some extent. Here's the real thing. The real thing is that we give them our awareness. We put our attention on them. They activate, you know, and who knows what causes them to activate. Get a phone call, we eat stupid food, and then all of a sudden we don't feel as positive as we could, and so the brain takes off. Like, oh, we give it our attention, our awareness. But that's not all of our awareness. Have you ever had the experience where you were in an open space and you felt like somebody was watching you, and you looked around and there was somebody was watching you? Okay, how did you know that? Your awareness picked it up. So your awareness isn't in your brain. Your awareness isn't in your chatterbox. Your awareness exists beyond that. Now, when I tell you every Sunday for years now, I've said, bring your attention to the bottoms of your feet. Remember that? I do that because that draws your attention away from we can't get spiritual guidance when but when we can move our awareness to another part of our body, we disengage from that. We give ourselves a break. Have a sense of that? Okay, so as you take your awareness and you put it to the bottoms of your feet, what happens? You can have a sense of all that chaos going on in that giant gymnasium. They're having fun. They're just going on and on and on about their stuff. That's what they do. It's okay. But you're in a different level of mind. You're a different level of awareness when you take your awareness and put it somewhere. Your awareness exists within your energy field of your body, within your body. You know they have found neurons in your heart? So your heart has a wisdom of its own. And they've also found neurons in your guts. That gut instinct, that gut knowing. So there's more here to give us awareness than the brain. And yet we think that's it. That's the sum total of who we are, is this chatter. Right? No, it's not right. But it's what we do. So here, I want to share with you a process by which we're going to utilize our awareness in a different way. And that you can recall this instantly whenever the chatter takes over. Because it will. It's just a matter of time. It's what the mind does. Just let it do what it does. Because it's trying to utilize itself as a search engine. You know, it's a big giant computer here collecting all this data. And it's pre-programmed for negativity. It's pre-programmed to show you what is not working so that you can be careful and be safe. Well, yay, howdy, I'm glad that does that. But now your intent is another level of mind, is another level of awareness. And with your intent, you can choose to notice it or not. So bring your attention to the bottoms of your feet. Now from the bottoms of your feet, look back at your chatter mind. Can you see it? Can you be aware of it? Can you perceive it? Okay. Now take your awareness back to the bottoms of your feet again. Now open the portals on the bottoms of your feet. Create some sort of portal there. Send your awareness through the earth out into space. And perceive that. Space feels expansive. It feels open. There's stars and nebulas and planets and all kinds of stuff out there. But it's expansive. And now with your awareness, I want you to look for a sense of creativity. The universe was created out of love and delight. God said, let there be light, and there was. God created the heavens and the earth, there we are. But it was created not because of obligation. I better go make the darn universe now, or darn physical world. No, it was made out of love and delight and creativity. So tap into that creativity. Do you have a sense of it? Draw some of it, a measure of it, up and put it in your heart space. And gently close the bottoms of your feet. Now open your eyes. Can you feel it there? Mm-hmm. Now from your heart space, notice what's going on in the chatter mind. Does it seem a little smaller, a little further away? A little smaller. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now what we've done is we've extracted our awareness from the chatter mind, and we've given it work to do. So let's take this another level higher, shall we? All right. Now let's create in our space. You've got your warehouse or your giant gymnasium for your chatter mind. Let's create another space. And it kind of looks like space that we just experienced by reaching out into space. But it's inner space. It's space within your awareness, okay? And your awareness is unlimited. It's not limited to this time or space. So can you create that in your mind's eye? All right. Now we're going to look back at the chatter mind, because there might still be some awareness in there. Pull that out of that. It's like taking clothes out of the dryer. You know how you take your sheets out of the dryer? Just scoop that stuff out of there. And now take the energy that we just brought from our heart space, that awareness in our heart space, and that creativity in our heart space, bring it up and just shake it out like it was a sheet. So it just lays out in front of you, this big, expansive energy, sheet of energy. Can you feel that? You may perceive it as a color. You might perceive it as just sparkling light. You might perceive it as just wave energy. And you know how when you flip out a sheet and it just kind of hovers until the air settles out of it? It's just going to hover there. Now that creativity that we came and we brought and we put in our heart space, let's take that creativity, that divine creativity, and we're just going to lay it on top of that. Just bring it up and lay it on top of that. So it's an overlay, an energetic overlay of creativity. And doesn't that feel lovely? Now, whatever situation in your world that might have required struggling, or might have required you to go back and access this chatter mind to make you feel like you have some sort of control, instead of doing that, place that on this sheet of awareness with the overlay of creativity. Perhaps you want to use a word or thought or a symbolic object to just lay on there to represent whatever that struggle might be for you. And you see it kind of cushioned and supported there? Do you have a sense of that? Now what's interesting is your awareness expands out. And now you'll have access to anything in this physical realm that could help that situation. You will also have divine connection that can bring to you awareness and insights for that situation. So as you're holding this situation on this sheet of awareness, this expansive awareness, and you put this creativity on there, the overlay of creativity, ask to be gifted a symbolic object that will, in fact, bless this situation for you, give you insights and information about that. Now you may sense a color roll in, you may sense an energy come to you, or you may see a symbolic object just delivered and dropped right next to that. Or perhaps you just see that situation dissolving. Whatever you're experiencing is what is right for you. And know this, that the universe, divine source, does not know time and space like we do. And if it's not instantaneous awareness, often within 3 days, you'll get information. You'll get an insight. You'll get a nudge. And as you receive that nudge, you'll know that it is important to act on it because you'll have a sense of this peaceful energy coming to you. It won't be wrapped in chatter. It will come to you via this beautiful, expansive energy, this peaceful energy. And now open your eyes. Now, how does that feel? Anybody receive instant response to their... Jackie, you did? Yeah. Care to share? One thing. Wait.
Just to do one thing at a time, because I try to do too many. So it's just one thing and finish.
Cool. That's a big insight.
Mm-hmm.
How did that, did it come in words? Did it come in feeling?
Came in a color blue.
Color blue. So now you can utilize that in every aspect of your life.
Right. Actually, it came in as a wave of kind of like just wash it out. Just,
Cool.
yeah.
Cool. Now, you're kind of like Phil, And Phil likes to do 10 things at once. Well, he likes to do one thing at a time, but he just has 10 things going on.
Right.
So he does this, and then he does that, and then he does this other thing over there, and then, so, and that's fine. But just whatever you're doing, that's where your attention will be.
Right.
And how does that feel?
Feels good.
Did the chatter mind bother you about that at all?
Not right now, no.
Yeah, not right now.
It's somewhere else. What
I
about
love it.
putting instead of a warehouse, can we send the chatter mine out into space?
Do whatever you want. Try
Okay.
it. The reason I did the warehouse is because most of us are so addicted to that chatter mind. Sending it too far away is not acceptable. We can't do that. Try it and see if it works for you. Because most of us want to have access to that chatter mind. We're addicted to that chatter mind because it's been in our face. Do you have a comment?
I did, and on like kind of sort of piggybacking off of what Jackie said about sending it off into space, is that I know that you were kind of guiding us, telling us, putting stuff in it, and on my sheet of creativity, the chatterbrain ended up organizing itself into little piles onto it, and then my awareness took me off to the grid, and then as soon as I got to the grid, it started kind of plunking itself onto these little lines, and it was the message of, your brain has already been taken care of. Know that these situations, they are on their way to, they're on the right path. Know
There
that
you
you're being
go.
taken care of. And so,
And how does that feel? Right.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Because
that.
there's a lot of things up in the air for you right now, isn't there?
So many. Oh my gosh.
And your
it's-
chatter brain could really run with that stuff.
Yeah, like in the old Willy Wonka movie, and they go into the TV room, and the TV is flying in little dots and fuzz above them. That's what my chatter brain feels like. And then it, like, sitting it down on the grid was like it organized all the little dots into
Wonderful.
where it was supposed to be. So.
Wonderful. Because there's nothing wrong with that part of the mind. It's just a different level of mind than what is productive
Right.
and what is blessing.
Right.
So it's tapping into that blessing energy. Got a couple over here. Microphone's on its way.
I just want to know if you have a handout of what you just did.
Do I have a handout? Do I have it? No.
Okay, because then I
It'll be on YouTube. We'll have to.
I'll get it up as soon as I can. Thank you. This is the hard part. I'm right underneath the bad spot. Hello, there it is. I found out that my creative mind was bored of the gym.
Bored of the gym.
Yeah, and
So create something new.
I created when we created that other room, it became a library, and it goes, oh, better. No, I don't need anything more. This is where I need to be.
Cool.
And so then it was just all over the place.
It can do its search to its heart's content. Glory, hallelujah.
And so
That's
now
what
it's
it wants
busy.
to do. It's just that nasty feedback that we're trying to cut that feedback loop out. Awesome. You already did. Anybody else?
I guess. At the end, I got the whole wide world in my hands, and I heard the
Got
song.
the whole
Yeah.
world in his hand. So it's all good.
Yep.
God's got this. You don't have to.
Thanks.
Wonderful.
Whenever I'm into meditation, guided meditation, and I open up the portals in my feet, I imagine like Rocket Man, like they open up and it just goes out my feet.
I love it.
And then imagining like the sheet coming out of the dryer and it was all sparkly and purple and beautiful, and then the words on it were kind of cartoonish. And then this big wind came up and just blew them away. I mean, a lot
Cool.
of action going on here.
Yeah, cool. So the winds of change are coming to deal with that. And there's nothing you have to do. So when the chatter mind starts going, just remember this situation and remember that the winds of change are taking care of it, and you can just relax. How does that feel?
That feels pretty good.
Awesome, awesome. Any other questions or comments about this process over here? And then one in the back.
My chatter mind always ignites at night
Yes.
when it's time to sleep.
How many people have the night mind? Yes. Uh-huh. Mhm.
Yeah, so it's nice to have this process to focus on to
Right. And the key here, as a quick review for you, the key here is your awareness is embedded in that chatter, but if you pull it out, like pulling clothes out of the dryer and shake it out into this sheet, and then bring this creativity in and lay it on as an overlay, then this piece comes to you. I have more to say about the piece. We had one in the back here.
Mine was more a comment on the symbol that was given.
Yes.
It was, excuse me, it was a lace heart. It seemed to appear from nowhere. White lace, but trimmed in red. And the thing that came out of like the dryer was like a river.
Cool.
And it wrapped itself around and went upwards around that heart and above.
Okay. So do you remember in school when we were kids and we made those hearts out of doilies?
Yeah, sure.
So this is letting you know that childlike wonder is going to take you where you want to go.
I want that.
There you go. You've got that.
All right.
It was just delivered to you from divine source. You don't even have to have it in your own awareness. It was given to you.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. One more up front, and then I'll wrap us up.
Hi, my name is Misty. Throughout my life, I've been put through a lot of trauma.
Okay, can you keep it to? We're really out of time.
Okay,
so
and
your
anyway,
experience?
I don't hear my chatterbrain, and I've suppressed a lot throughout my life, but when through this process, I felt like cold air on my hands, and I was like a light, and then I twirled up into a ball and went into the sky, and I was told that I'm a shooting star. Anyway.
There you go. So that should give you some strength and courage to do whatever is on your plate to do. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. I have one little thing I want to share with you before we move to our next process. This is Philippians chapter 4. I've read this to you before, but it brings new meaning to us after today's process. Chapter 4, starting with verse 4. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say, rejoice. There's that joy. There's that joy. Be anxious for nothing.